Good evening, and thank you for joining us this meeting. This presentation is to show us how our organization can grow its market share from 8% to 20%, while we're also growing our revenue from $5 million, where we are as of today, to $25 million by the end of 2023. The essence of this project is to automate our current process in order to achieve the above-mentioned goals and objectives. And of course, that is speaking to our revenue and our market share. This is where we sit currently. The industry where we play is financial sector. Our competitors are the big banks in Canada, RBC, CIBC, and the rest of them. Our customers are loan applicants, either they're applying for personal or business loans. Currently, our market share is at 8.9%, which is pretty low. And we're hoping to get to 20% by the end of 2023. Here are the objectives that we're looking at. We want to automate our sales processes. As it regards lead generation and conversion, we want to be able to increase the rate at which we retain customers. And of course, this will be enabled by response time to our customers, our clients, our partners. Of course, by the end of 2023, we are hoping that this automation would help us to grow our revenue by 20%. Market share also, within the same period, we're hoping to have increased it by 11%. We want a loan application flow that is built in such a way that approval level becomes fast, seamless, and completely digital. We want to be able to have an holistic view of our customers where we can analyze their financial status, their repayment. We see their repayment history. We see what their risk behavior is, and this will help us to be able to determine if they have the ability to access the loan that they are asking for. Further to the objectives, we're looking at a single point of contact for our customers where we can attend to them in one spot. We want to reduce the level at which they interact with us to just one point through their journey from onboarding to tracking what they do to payment and all of that. We want a situation where we have a dynamic collection system that is talking about getting money back now after we've given them the loan. Also, which is important, is reporting. We're hoping that the automation, the Salesforce application after automation would help us to be able to generate reports on time, real time, and provide dashboard to relevant stakeholders to be able to make decisions and analyze situations. Most importantly, we want to create a unified experience for our customers. We want them to be happy. We want them to stay with us. We want to increase market share.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sola, for laying the groundwork. Before I go any further, we would, as a team, want to clarify any kind of boundaries that needs to exist for this project and take off any form of ambiguity as well. So I want to clearly define the scope of our project. We will begin, of course, with the initiation. We'll begin the project as any standard project. Of course, we'll go through the planning of resources and how best we can apply these to the full execution of the project. We will schedule, of course, our timelines to ensure that we're able to deliver as when due. The cost estimation in terms of the budget required to get this executed completely will be considered as well. And definitely we will not lose focus on the risk aspect and plan adequately to ensure we mitigate any kind of risk that may occur. Of course, as the project progresses, we'll be monitoring and controlling any deviations to ensure that, yes, we stick with the timeline and, of course, evaluate our final results. Next slide, please. Thank you. So our pain points, I want to paint a grim picture where we are right now, and hopefully with the new process being implemented or the new system, we'll be moving to a future state, which is the preferred state. Our current pain point, the loan application process, it's heavily manual. It is 100% paper-based. It is tedious, cumbersome, and monotonous. With a growing economy that we're part of right now, we barely have 9% of the market share. Honestly, if you look at our 14 days loan approval process, it's just an endless circle of frustration, especially when you look at clients looking to get their loans approved, especially in the speed of light. Average revenue, you can see it's 5 million with barely scratching to hit that, and the total loans applied based on the average figure we have for the entire year, it's 5,000. But with the new process and the new system being implemented, we want to change that. We want to automate our loan process fully, right? There won't be any paper process. We'll project that, yes, with that automation, we'll definitely get more patronage that would increase our market share from where we are right now to 20% by the end of 2023. And we will, of course, reduce the loan approval turnaround, because that is really important. Right now, we go an entire 2 weeks, to get that sorted out. With the implementation of the new process, we hope to drop that down to barely 3 days, right? And with the number of loans we'll have processed in the year, we'll also have that targeted revenue of 25 million. Thank you. Next slide, please. All right. So to get all of this done, we will have to focus on our requirement. Definitely, we will need to be deploying a cloud-based system and a software with web capabilities. We will hope to activate a web application process with tracking abilities. That way, every stakeholder in the loan approval process, from the clients to the final approving officers and all, will be able to track each loan as they go through the process. We'll integrate, of course, our CRM tool to properly monitor our clients. We'll also integrate it with the web for online real-time lead creation. It's very important that our clients are able to have access to our platforms anytime, and it's also important for us to be able to track this real-time, right? We'll enable outbound notification that would help the approval process and know if there are any glitches in the system that needs to be addressed. We'll integrate our system with approved credit rating agencies. That is the secret and the sweet spot, basically, that would help us reduce that loan turnaround time. And of course, we want to enable mobile capabilities so that basically you can take your application everywhere you go. Thank you. Next slide, please. Thank you.
In furtherance of this presentation, we consider the stakeholders involved in this loan automation project. These stakeholders are those that can be affected by the outcome of the project. Our internal stakeholders being our end users and our project sponsors. The end users are the current and future staff of Coffee Bean Credit and Loan Incorporation, who will be saddled with the responsibility of using this new automation system once it is completed, day in, day out. And our project sponsors, who are the very important stakeholders and who will ensure that the resources are in place to perform this project successfully. Then we also have our managers who will meet their quotas and targets based on this new system. And we also have listed our external stakeholders, and they include our customers, who are those that will benefit from the success of this new system. So once we automate the loan application process, they will have a faster turnaround time for their loans and a smoother application process all in all. Then the shareholders also stand to benefit from the success of this automation system for the loan applications. We have regulators who will have an added advantage of following the digitalized process, and they can also tap into the credit bureau and data in respect to loan applications. And then we added the government as external stakeholders because they stand to gain a lot more from taxes on improved transactions that we get, as well as they can also buy into a seamless system of loan delivery for government-supported projects, which are aimed at reducing unemployment. Next slide, please. Our next slide here is, we have highlighted the project constraints. And the theory behind the constraints is that there's always at least one constraint present that could prevent the fruition of the project. We have identified the following constraints for coffee bean credit and loan incorporation. And the first one here is time. And time is a very critical constraint. And sometimes it doesn't matter how good your product is. If you cannot deploy it as scheduled, then it's as good as a fail, practically. And we plan to have the loan automation process debuted at the organization's upcoming conference in December 2022, all things being equal. And then we intend that we beat any possible constraints that timing could throw at us in the process of running this project. The second listed is the costs. And the cost is a financial capital that the organization, Coffee Bean Credit and Loan Corporation, has available on ground to spend. And this covers the budget for the automation projects, including research, development, design, software, to mention but a few, and other costs are stated in this presentation. We intend to work hard to ensure that the development teams stay within the approved budget that has been slated and has been agreed on, and that this constraint does not in any way affect us. And thirdly, here we have the scope as a constraint. Generally, when a scope grows in a project, most likely more time and money is required for completion of the project once the scope grows. And if proper attention is not paid to it, it could lead to delays in project timeline, or it could even bring down the team's morale or push back deadlines. And for this particular automation process that we intend to work on, we plan to be able to deal with this constraint, or to beat these constraints and establish our scope by creating a detailed project plan. And after we create the detailed project plan, we get our stakeholders and convince them to sign off on every necessary step before the project begins. And by the completion of this automation, we aim to get rid of paper application for loans, and to reduce the approval levels through which the loans have to go to, having to go from offices to offices for approval. We aim to eradicate that outrightly. And we also have the intention of making sure that the turnaround time for our customers who apply for loans are reduced drastically, so as to encourage them to patronize our organization the more. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito. Another constraint that we are going to be mindful of in this project is that of quality. It's very important that we make sure that our deliverables meet the initial expectations of the project. There are so many factors that can result in poor quality in the project, and it is important for us to manage these factors and ensure that we deliver a high-quality project for Coffee Bean Credit and Loan Incorporation. Some of the factors that can affect the quality of our projects are, but not limited to, lack of communication. The lack of communication between stakeholders and the project team can affect the quality of the work that we're doing. And it is very important for us to make sure that at every step of this project, we are communicating and expectations are being communicated clearly between both parties. Another factor that can affect the quality of our work is poor design and development skill. It's important for us that we put together a team that produces high quality work, and that their design and implementation of the process meets the project's deliverables. Another quality constraint is when there are too many project changes. Having too many changes throughout the project lifecycle can also adversely affect the quality of work that we deliver. And this shows the interconnectivity between the scope and the quality constraints, because constantly changing demands can lead to low quality work. Another constraint that we're being mindful of in this project is that of risk. Risks are unexpected occurrences that can affect any project. They are very inevitable in every project, even though they can be good or bad. Some of the risks that we have identified include, but are not limited to, stretched resources, low performance, time crunch, and scope creep. It is very important during the duration of this process that we assess for the severity of and likelihood of any risk and have plans in place to mitigate them as they come along. And the final constraint that we identified for this project is that of customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction cannot be overemphasized. It is not enough for us to deliver a project on time or even within budget if the customer or the end users are not satisfied with what we have done. It is very important for us at every stage of the development to always ask ourselves questions and look for clues to the answer to the question, will the customer be satisfied with this new product experience that we are producing? Thank you. Next slide, please. So when we talk about costs, whenever you are implementing a new project, it's always very important to consider the amount of money to be invested and to estimate the cost for each activity or purchase that might be needed for the project. For this project, we have identified 5 main costs for them. The first being the Salesforce platform license. This will be the biggest cost on a yearly basis that we envisage for this project, as this is the tool that we're going to use to turn and transform our current state to the desired future state. Training cost. After the implementation of Salesforce in our organization, it is very important for us to train the staff adequately on how to use the system and how it will help them achieve their goals, and to make sure that the new onboarding process is accepted by everybody that is going to be making use of this new system. We envisage the need to hire for the successful completion of this project. We're going to have to hire a team to implement this project: business analysts, quality assurance testers, Salesforce consultants, and the likes. And this is going to be one of the costs associated with this project. Also, an increase in customer may also warrant for new staff to make sure that as we have a faster turnaround process, it doesn't in turn increase due to lack of people to do the work. Marketing costs. After the implementation or deployment of a new system, it is very, very important for any company to tell the new story that they have, and to put out the story in a way that will resonate for not only their existing, but also potential clients, which is where the marketing cost comes into place. And finally, hardware and software. The final cost allocation for this project will be for the items like computers, printers, whatever is needed by the project team and even the staff to do their work. And we also see the need for the improvement of the company websites to help reflect the new process that we are putting in place. Next slide, please. Finally, we're going to highlight some of the benefits and the expected return on investment on implementing this project. We see a 15% increase in the number of loans approved yearly due to the implementation of this new CRM tool. It's going to help in the reduction of administrative tasks, and it will increase the number of work that's being done on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. The application is going to be more visible to customers throughout the whole process. Customers are going to be able to see at every stage of the process what is going on, and as opposed to what we have currently. This will in turn lead to an increase in customer satisfaction. When customers are able to see at every stage what is happening and they don't have to keep calling into the office, and also the increase in turnaround time, those two factors we project are going to lead to high increase in our customer satisfaction rates. Through our marketing efforts, we foresee a more visible and recognizable brand emerging for our company. Management will also be able to easily track business process, the length through which business process are being carried out, and they're also going to have access to integrated dashboards and reports for anything that they need. We project better communication between the various teams in the company through the interconnectivity that Salesforce provides. By implementing Salesforce for our company, there's going to be better communication between all the various teams in the business, as we're going to have a unified system where everything is being done Also, there's going to be increased productivity because there's going to be the reduction of some of the administrative tasks that are being carried out by the loan officers right now, as they're going to be a more automated system where the customers are going to have a hand in doing some of the work. Also, we see potential growth in revenue for our company by 20% as a result in the increase in customers and the loan approvals. And finally, we believe that Salesforce will make it easier for us to track and reach our potential customers through the integration of Salesforce with our web services. Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our presentation.
Fantastic. Well done, well done, well done.
Thank you.
Before I share my feedback, I'll throw it open to the class for them to share their feedback first. In case they end up sharing any of the feedback that I have, then I won't have to repeat it. So class, let's do, let's share some feedback here. What do we think about the presentation? What did they do well? What can they improve on? This is your opportunity to help them. Olaide, go ahead, please.
Okay, I just wanted to say that, the presentation is clean and they did pretty well with everything that they did. Like, I like the presentation, the transitioning, and the way they carried everybody along. It was really a very nice presentation. And then I just wanted to mention that they really set the bar high for everybody. So it's good they went first.
Thank you.
Yeah, so great work, guys.
Thank you for the feedback, Olaide. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other person wants to share feedback, the good, the not so good, everything, This is the right forum for it.
Sorry, can a team member share feedback on the work?
Yeah, except if you want to say, oh, they did fantastic. No, we don't want to hear that.
No,
just joking. Go ahead. Share
I'm just asking. I don't have any question too.
Oh,
but in
okay.
case my question come, or in case I want to do something. Sorry.
Okay. Was that Odi who just spoke?
Moyo.
I'm Moyo.
Moyo. Okay. Odi, your hand is raised. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, it's past 2 a.m. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Olabisi's team. What I just want to say is I can see a very good team effort, and it really shows that you worked as a team, which is quite very good. And that's just the striking thing for me. Yes, the layout is very good. So, but I wasn't looking at the time for you. I'm not sure if you exceeded your time, but yes, it was a good presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Great feedback, Odi. Any other feedback? Class, are you under tension because you're also going to present? Or why are you not talking? Share some feedback with them. Let them know how they do.
Honestly speaking, if you ask me, I'm seriously under tension. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Lie. If you ask me to score that group, I must score them 100%. Sincerely speaking, in my candid, they didn't sound like this is the first time they're presenting. Maybe they've been doing it as a group elsewhere, I don't know. But coming to this BA class, I wasn't expecting this. Good job, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being so honest. You're under tension. You let us know, and you're still able to share feedback. That is fantastic. Even when you become a BA, you'll be under tension and they would expect you to talk. And you really just done well. I'm talking about that. I'll make it easy for the class, right? I do have feedback that I want to share. So you were right on time with time. You didn't exceed your 20 minutes. That's fantastic. Even though you had 4 people who spoke. I thought that the flow, the way you moved from one slide to the other, right? There was such a good flow. And you all were easy to listen to. Like, I wasn't struggling to be attentive to your presentation. I thought that was really great. Now, to go into a bit more detail. And yes, I'm going to be a bit granular here because I need for you to get it. I've told you the fantastic thing. You did really well overall. Your PowerPoint was clean. The communication was easy on the ears. and the points flowed. There was good transition from one point to another point. It wasn't scattered all over, right? But your slide 3, you use different font sizes there. That can be distracting. Please go back and take a look at it. Slide 3. I mean, you don't have to do it here, but you can. Every other slide I mentioned, don't feel the need to go back. But is this slide 3? No, I think this is not 3.
This one?
Yeah, the next one. Go to the next one.
This one?
Yes. Can you see the 4th? And in fact, from the 4th point downwards, the font, whether it's the font size, not even the bullet. The bullet is one thing, obviously, that needs to be.
Yeah.
But the actual font size, right? Yeah. Points 1, 2, 3 have a smaller font, and the others are bigger, right? So it's minor, but that can be distracting. I mean, I noticed it, right? You would think who would notice something like that, but I did. Anyway, your punctuation was inconsistent. So look at the first point. There is no full stop. Look at the last point. There is a full stop. So you either, you have to be consistent with it. Either don't use it or use it, but whatever you choose, stick with it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Good. If you go to the next slide. Keep going. One more. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, here. No. Yeah, no. The next one. So here you talked about loan application, right? Average number of loan application, it's 5,000. So that needs to be plural. Should be loan applications. Yeah, I know, right?
Critical.
It should be loan applications in both places, right? And then secondly, in the left box, you have 14 days loan approval process. But in the future state, you have reduction of loan approval to 72 hours. It should be loan approval process. It's the duration of the process you're reducing to 72 hours, not the loan approval itself, right? Okay. So you're missing a word there. It should be reduction of loan approval process to 72 hours.
Okay.
Something like you have the eagle's eyes.
Well, if you want to be like you, if you prepared as many presentations or delivered or listened to as many, it would be the same. And people, please, I'm not trying to be critical of you. I think your presentation is actually excellent. It's just those little things that can distract people and make them tune out of what you're saying. Okay. I think that's about it. Yeah, your project constraints. Can we go to that slide? Yes, here. I like the way you documented time and risk. For example, automation completion before debut at the organization's upcoming conference in December 2022. So we know there's a time constraint, right? We are trying to deliver before this period. If you look at risk, you have hardware, memory failures, and schedule delays. That tells me we know this may occur, and we've highlighted it as a risk. But if we look at cost, you wrote budget includes the research development, design software, and testing costs. I don't see how it's a constraint, right? But you're not really, are you trying to tell me the money is not enough? Because that doesn't tell me that. The way you told me about time, you're trying to achieve this before this period, right? The constraint is pretty clear to me. But for cost, you're telling me, of course, yes, the cost includes all of these things you mentioned. Is that a problem? Do you think the money will not be enough? If that's what you're saying, that's not very clear. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Good. The one more thing is, Olabisi, I couldn't see you and Tito, right? But yeah, I think that was Olabisi. I could hear you turn the pages as you spoke. It gave the impression you were reading, and maybe you were not reading it. Maybe you were actually talking. And it's okay to turn pages. You've seen people present. I mean, who can memorize all these things, right? But when I can't see your face and I can hear you turning pages, it just makes me feel like you're reading out to me. So watch out for that next time, okay?
Thank you.
Lastly, when you're talking about cost, try to include real numbers. So you had a lot of 15%, but maybe that 15% is $1,000. Honestly, if it's $1,000, I don't care, right? Because you didn't tell me the actual numbers. And like I said, feel free to make it up, right? There were no actual numbers to help me understand the gravity of what we were talking about. Okay, so you guys are so fantastic, no matter all the feedback I just gave.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the feedback.
Thank
you.
Yeah. And for the other groups, I didn't mean to put you under pressure. Just do your presentation. Don't worry about my feedback. My feedback is just to help you get better at it. Don't be like, oh, that was a wonderful presentation and Abiola still had all those things to say. Doesn't matter. Just do your presentation. I'm your friend and your colleague, okay? Group 2, take it away. I'm waiting for group 2 to volunteer themselves. Okay, I'll volunteer Valerie's group. Let's do this. We're ready when you're ready.
Are we group 2? Dawn,
yes.
Are we group 2?
I've just made you group 2.
Yes, you're group 2. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Dawn will be up in a minute with our slides. First slide. Can you put it on the first slide? Okay,
One quick one, before you begin, can you please put it in presentation mode?
Yeah.
So if you go to the bottom right of your screen, those icons, bottom right. No, that's the left, the right. If you go to the right, the other side. Okay, move your hand to the, there. Oh, you just moved your hand away again. Then, that one, click on it, please. Great, thank you.
Sorry, guys, I was talking. I didn't realize I was muted. I got confused because of the sharing stuff. Sorry.
It's okay. We're ready when you are.
Okay, my name is Joke, and I'll be presenting for our group first. I'll start right now so my time can start ticking. Sorry for the earlier trying to get the slides up. Just my team member is sharing this from her computer. So again, my name is Joke, and we are a healthcare home. I will introduce our company. The name of our company is Violet Home Healthcare. We are in the healthcare industry. We all know how challenging it is, so we'll keep it short so you can relate with what we're trying to bring to you. So keeping a medical practice, no matter the environment, even if it's a doctor's office, even if it's home care aid, keeping it smoothly running, it's very challenging. Even in the hospital, even if it's an ER, you have to put in a lot of effort, a lot of endeavors in terms of your employees and keeping your patients happy. There are always tons of moving pieces that need to align to ensure that this environment has got the greatest success. However, with proper management, keeping attention to detail, careful planning, you can make these healthcare practices very effective. And for us, this is what we're trying to achieve. We're serving like a boarding home for elderly and disabled patients, and we've been doing this for 6 years. However, recently there's been decline in our service as well as profits in our company. For example, the average revenue for home health care that has been open for a period of 3 years is more than $1 million, right? And we are currently at $300,000 as much as we've been open for 6 years. With this presentation, we're going to explain to you how we can achieve at least $700,000 a year and increase our profit as well. In this presentation, we'll also outline our pain points, talk about the opportunities and what we're trying to implement. My colleague Varely and Dawn will put you through all of that pain point and implementation plan. We will not take too much of your time, but yeah, thank you. So Dawn will talk about pain points.
Okay, so for the pain point, we have the satisfied patients. We're going to be talking about understaffing, high staff turnover, extra cost of training new caregivers, then the negative reviews that we have. Okay, so for the satisfied patient, we know that one of the key pain points is patient dissatisfaction. And then this has a marked impact on retention and clinical. I'm sorry, like I told you, I'm tensed already, so please bear with me. I'll continue with it. Okay, so I'll take it again. So, excuse me. Okay. So one of the key pain points is patient dissatisfaction. This has a marked impact on retention and clinical outcome. So keeping satisfaction as high as possible should be a key goal for any healthcare practice. Before a patient even gets to the office, they have likely experienced fear and anxiety over their symptoms. They have spent hours researching their condition online and have spent a significant amount of time in transit and in the waiting room. All this makes it challenging for a medical practitioner to match patient needs. But the best course of action is to devote as much time as possible to each patient, genuinely taking the time to listen to their concerns and ideas regarding their health. According to research, 94% of patients will look at online reviews. So unhappy patients could be driving business away. The perception of teamwork and strong care coordination are key indicators of a positive patient experience. So I'll be taking the understaffing. Understaffing has plagued the company for a long time now. And when nursing facilities do not have enough staff to give each patient adequate attention, it leads to mistakes and neglect. Employee turnover. According to the HR reports, employee turnover rates are exceptionally high in the healthcare homes. In fact, over 50% of employees spend less than 6 months in our facility. With this turnover rate in mind, having proper retention strategies is vital. Building a positive employee experience and listening to concerns of employees are the best places to start with. Extra cost of training new caregivers. The cost of training and onboarding contributes to the low profit plaguing the company. At the moment, the company spends 3 times the allocated amount due to high turnover. Then the negative reviews. This deters the patient from using our facilities. Judging by a Google review, we have lost a total of 1,000 inquiry patients and in turn lost money. Next slide, please.
And due to this, we have we have spoken to the HR department as well as to patients and employees as well, the caregivers. And we have come up with we have decided that an app facing caregivers would be a great implementation to help with this problem. The app will serve as a profile for each caregiver, as well as contain their schedule and give them the opportunity to pick up new schedules, caregiver incentives, or pick up new dates as well. The app will have an option for caregivers to share their anonymous grievances to HR. It will serve as a direct line as well to them to show evidence of impromptu absence or health problems deterring them from being able to fulfill their scheduled dates. It will also show caregivers their benefits, compensation, and bonuses as well. The app will also serve as a purpose of showing patients' details for each caregiver. So it would show who they are taking care of that day, the patient's allergies, medication, and just detailed information and important information that would help to make the care better and efficient. And the implementation of this will breed a stable work environment for the caregivers, which will in turn increase the caregivers' morale and work attitude. If the workers/caregivers are happy, it will serve a purpose of increasing the number of new caregivers that we have. This will create an influx of patients into the facility, because once we have patients that are satisfied, that will increase the opportunity for new patients to come in as well. This will in turn increase revenue for the company. More patients equals more revenue and more profits. And once we're able to do this, as I said before, it would increase our positive reviews as well. It will serve as a process to create an efficient environment for caregivers. If they are armed with information of their patients and what they need to make the service efficient, then it will make them feel in control of their work life and their working environment. And this will in turn lead to high workers' retention. This is one of the most acute pain point that we have. We believe that once we are able to have a high worker retention and stable caregivers, our revenue will increase as well as our profit over time. Our projection for this implementation is that we will have we currently have a total number of 500 patients with a total revenue of $300,000 a year. The app training and other alignment and benefits that it will provide will help to make sure that we gain at least 300 new clients a year. The surge of clients / patients will increase our yearly revenue by $400,000 a year. This will in turn increase our profits from $45,000 a year to $105,000 a year. This is a big projection, and this is a projection that we stand firmly behind. Currently, we are on shaky grounds, and we believe that this implementation is the turnaround that we need, and that we need to do it as swiftly as possible in order to not only maintain where we are, but to increase our likelihood of this company / facility staying around and servicing older people, but also to make sure that we are here in the long run, so that it's a facility that can increase its locations as well as increase its revenue and profit in the future. That's all we have for today. Thank you.
Awesome. Well done, Group 2. Thank you for that presentation. As usual, I'll throw it open to the class to share their feedback before I share mine. If you'd like to share any feedback, please raise your hand so I can call you. Ola.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I would like to congratulate you all. I think you put together a very wonderful presentation. It was timely, you're able to, like Abby said, adhere to the timelines and all. But just a couple of observations from someone who regularly communicates or presents to senior management is the fact that you've got to get very, very comfortable with being able to, provide information. I think someone described it as saying that it's like telling a story. meaning that you've got to be able to weave together your commentary, your numbers, and you've got to be very careful in your choice of language. In a project environment where you're trying to transition into a new system or you're trying to optimize your process, the reality is that you're potentially making some people's roles obsolete. You're making their knowledge or the value add to the company obsolete. So you've got to be able to create a positive environment, meaning that when you're describing the current process, you've got to be careful not to use negative words like it's bad, it's terrible, it's horrible, we are this, we're that. No, that wouldn't necessarily endear them to you. You've got to be able to look for a way to pass this information across to the fact that you're performing below industry averages or below what is expected for a company of that caliber. You've got to be able to let them see the benefits of the new system without basically telling a VP or a CFO or a CRO that they've been useless, basically. And that relates to, I think, someone in the first presentation. In the way you described the current process, there was you leaned heavily into the negatives, and you basically don't want to call out a C-suite executive in a meeting or in a presentation mode. You'll immediately create a very, very powerful enemy for yourself. So I think everyone has to watch out for that. And then secondly, when we're trying to describe the benefits of the new system and the benefits of the new process, you've got to be able to also tell them how it benefits the process in terms of measurable business metrics. It helps us to, increase revenue by X amount, reduce cost by X amount, reduce, average turnover by X days. And then you need to take it to the next step in terms of how you compare to the industry as well. Because this is how, the people in the CISO think. It's all about performance. And you have to be able to tell them in terms of business performance measures, this is what this is going to get us if you put in X amount of dollars. But if you say things like, they'll be able to, see their schedule, they'll be able to see their bonus, they'll be able to see this, they'll be able to see that. At the end of the day, when you consolidate all of that, how does it benefit the business? How does it translate into the financial statement? How does it help, their retained earnings? I think, that's how they think. And you've got to be able to, sort of speak their language. And then another thing is, like I said earlier, getting comfortable with making presentations. And I'm pretty sure anyone who's done this before you start your meeting, you have these icebreakers, you get people to, sort of get comfortable with, especially if it's going to be a difficult conversation. You want the atmosphere, the environment to be positive. You want people to be engaged. And how do you do that? You make them comfortable. But you only get to that level when you get comfortable presenting yourself. So the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. And it's not something anybody can teach you, really. You can be taught how to put together a PowerPoint presentation, but like Abby said, if you're reading off your presentation or it's clear that, you're trying to regurgitate something you crammed, you're going to lose them. And you don't want that. So at the end of the day, you just have to keep doing it until you get so comfortable that you could basically have a presentation in front of you, but converse with the C-suite, converse with the board of directors, converse with, with the executives. And that way you get them engaged and you get their buy-in. I know that's quite a lot, but yeah, I would like to say, well done to everyone who presented tonight. I think you guys did a very good job.
Thank you, Ola. Thank you. I think that was good feedback. It was pretty clear. Odi, you raised your hand and then you put your hands down. What happened? You changed your mind?
No, actually, she touched what I wanted to say about the confidence aspect of it. So even when Valerie she made her intentions known earlier, but yeah, she still came back to say her words, which is quite okay. And with the other person that's presented was quite a bit shaky, but yeah, she still did it. So yeah, because all I touched based on what I wanted to say. I didn't want to just take much time again. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Ola, do you mind lowering your hand, please? Unless you have something to add, but if not, please lower your hand. Olaide, go ahead, please.
Hi, thank you, Biola. So sorry, group 2, you guys, I know coming after group 1 was a little bit, you're already anxious and then you go after that powerful group. So yes, I kind of understand what you guys were feeling. You guys did well. You did good. Everybody's learning here. I just wanted to mention that I think that for me, the slide presentation, there was a little bit of spillovers from the pages. I don't know if it was just me that noticed it. I think some of the diagram were outside the border of the presentation. So maybe you can just reduce the font or reduce the diagram so that it can fit into the PowerPoint space or the border. And then I think some of the slides were also heavily worded. So you can just reduce the wordings and then speak more than having people trying to read what you have on your slide and also paying attention to you. But in all, it was a good presentation and you guys pulled through. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Olaide. Thank you. Shola?
Thank you, Abiola. My feedback is more of positive. And Abiola, I would like if you can confirm if it is actually a positive. I think it was the first person that started that said something about being tensed, and she paused and took her breath and then continued. To me, I think it's a good way of getting yourself back into the presentation. It happens during presentation. Maybe you lost track and you just open up and say, please give me a minute, let me rephrase or let me go over things again. I think it's positive. Abiola, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, no, actually, thank you for mentioning that, Shola, and thank you to everybody who gave feedback today. I basically echo everything that has been said from Ola to Odi, Olaide, and Shola, and if I missed anybody, I basically echo all of those feedback from Ola saying that you need to cater to your audience, right? There's a certain way they think. You need to be able to match that thinking because that's the only way you speak their language. So thank you for that. Shola, I think that the point you mentioned is really, it's right on time. And it's one of the things that I wrote down myself. We all have to be honest with ourselves, right? Valerie needed a minute and she asked for it. I think that is class right there. She needed a minute, she asked for it, she took that minute and then she continued on. So well done, Valerie. Not, presentations are what they are. Who likes talking to strangers? There are people who like talking to strangers, but there are days when even me, I'm like, I wish I didn't have to do this presentation, right? But I still have to, because I look at the meeting invite and there are all these big titles and I'm like, I honestly don't want to talk to them, right? But I have to. And so that was Valerie today doing a presentation. She felt that way. She was open and transparent, right? She needed a minute, she asked for it, and I thought that was great. Okay, so just a few more things to add, right? I thought that the PowerPoint had too many words in it. So when you can, write in point form. You're better off having 5 points to talk about than making it look like a story. Speak it like a story, write it like a summary. Okay? When you talk about it, tell it like you're telling a story. But in your PowerPoint presentation, make it like, very straight to the point. I need to be able to read a line, that line ends, and then I go to another line. Don't write it in story form. When I saw your first slide, it took me a bit of time to decide whether I wanted to read it or not. Your listener shouldn't feel that way. They should see that presentation and just want to read it because it's just so easy on the eye, if you know what I mean. Okay. There was a bit of inconsistency in the way you wrote your numbers. Sometimes you put $, other times you won't put $. Okay. And then your slide that talked about projection, honestly, I didn't quite understand it, but I can take it offline with you for time's sake. I didn't quite understand the message you were sharing there. A few other things that I liked was that you didn't do it all the time, but you did it enough for me to notice was that you introduced the next person. So I think it was the first speaker who introduced the next speaker. And I was hoping you'd continue on, but you didn't. Group one, this is feedback for you as well. Every time the first person stopped, finished their own part, they kept quiet and automatically expected the next person to take it on, which the next person did, but a nicer way. Let me say another way that you could do it is to say, and now I will pass it on to my colleague who will tell you about, right? Because what if you assume the next person was going to take it on, especially in the world of remote, but that person walked away from that computer at that moment to grab a cup of water or something, right? If you do that intro to say, oh, and now my colleague is going to, if that colleague was just walking away to get water, they hear their name, they're coming back, right? But if you've done your part and you just keep quiet and you expect them to take it on and they don't, then there's that gap, right? And it just presents better when you introduce the next person. Okay, that's all the feedback I have actually, of course, in addition to all the feedback every other person shared. Moyo, sorry, your hand is up. Did you have a comment?
I wanted to just say something which you have said. Also, I wanted to volunteer myself. I see their slide and I want to say if they need help doing any next assignment, they should just let me know.
Wow. Thank you. I think that's awesome, you know.
Thank you, Moyo. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all a team here. So group 2, please, Moyo is offering, take advantage of it. You know, even if you think you can improve on it yourself, it's still always good to have someone else take a look at it, right? Moyo, thank you for that. I'm sure group 2 appreciates it. Okay, now we have 2 groups left, right? So group 3, you know, one of the 2 groups volunteer, please, and let's take it away. Awesome.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kachi, and I'll be introducing for Group 3. So sorry for that. Our presentation will be on CRM implementation for our company, 4B1. We are a company that plays in the health and wellness industry. We are a nutrition-based company, and recently we realized that during the pandemic, some of our processes was exposed, and sorry, please, next slide. So we have our expertise in the nutrition and health industry, and then we constantly explore and aim to push the boundaries of what is possible with food. We therefore, our goal is to bring more pleasure and enjoyment to enable people to have better health. But with the recent pandemic, we realized that our system was actually challenged, and then we had issues. So this actually showed up in our procurement division. And then we had limitations in the process, in our current process of managing vendors. It also showed up in the place that we had backlogs of payments, and this was impacting negatively to the company. We have actually identified that we need to improve our current CRM application. So to enable us have a very good vendor relationship so that we don't lose that to our competitors, and also for us to report improved decisions due to sufficient data in our system. Next slide, please. So what this problem showed itself as one, low visibility into the procurement life cycle. So the procurement division had a very great problem, as the CRM in question that we use at the moment is not able to show the full procurement life cycle. Hence, poor decisions are made by those charged with this procurement. Usually, this actually causes extra cost on the division, and it actually eats into the revenue of the system. We also had issues presently we have issues with unreliable data system. Some of our processes are manual and very, very tedious. This actually leads to, critical errors due to this manual entry in maybe purchasing, inventory, and stock level count. There is also poor purchase decision by the managers because we lack spend insight. There are no proper dashboards for display for them to do this. We also have, we noticed that during this period, we had a high rate of attrition of staffs. Why? When we performed a root cause analysis, we realized that it was because of the tedious processes involved, and this particular division starts seeing a high rate of attrition of staffs. We also have a problem of delayed purchase due to poor signaling from the departments. The departments are not well integrated, so hence we always have an issue with delayed purchase when requests are made. We also realize that delayed payments to our vendors or suppliers always cause shunting in our supply cycle. Hence, we had issues with our whole manufacturing processes. Also, we have opportunities right now of onboarding new suppliers, but so that to increase our sourcing of materials. But this also poses a challenge because the present system that we have is not able to onboard our suppliers seamlessly. There is also, we have an issue or a gap, you understand, in monitoring and transparency on the side of the procurement itself properly. And, when this is not handled properly, it could actually lead to issues of lost revenue due to side deals. So the proposed state of our new CRM, it will do what? Improve visibility into the procurement life cycle, because it will now be centralized, and then different divisions will be able to see and know exactly what is going on. And the managers, procurement managers, will be able to have a full glimpse of the life cycle of the procurement itself. Also here, we'll be with this new CRM, we'll be relying on real-time data. So there will be data reliability, and better purchasing decisions will be made. We are also able to, automate processes. This will help you understand with standardization, and of course lead to eradication of errors, as these tasks are already automated. Also, there will be staff retention, as tasks will be less tedious. Talking about staff retention and less tedious tasks, when you link it to automation, the implication is that also staff, because of automation, will be redeployed to other aspects of the business where they will even have greater value to the entire company. There will also be real-time collaboration and live signaling among team members. This will actually lead to timely procurement and purchase, and the manufacturing process in itself will not be shunted. Next slide. All right, so thank you. So at this point, I'll be introducing my next colleague, Odi, to handle this.
Thank you, Kachi, for giving that introduction about what we do and what we want to achieve. So as a follow-up on what Kachi has said, we'll be taking up from what her strategy would be to implement this solution. As you can see from my screen, we've got that process flow from plan to analyze, to design, to build, validate, and deploy. So what are we going to be doing on the, so pardon me, I don't know why this is not happening here. So the project plan phase, this is where we will be talking about the resources, about the cost involved, about getting approval and about the feasibility and the viability of this project. So there's a whole lot that will be happening here, cutting across every resource team members that the company will be using to achieve this strategy. So the next phase that we will do is to analyze once the project has been approved. So we are going to still be understanding what the current process is all about, how we want to actually deal with it professionally and help the business to move forward. And doing that, we'll be facilitating workshops, thereby identifying stakeholders that are impacted. So that's on the summary of the analyze phase. On the design phase, yes, the solution needs to be user-friendly, and which is what we would have spoken about in the plan phase. So here we want to design the solution and the technical aspect of this application. Pardon me for my words. So on the build phase, we are actually going to be doing the work. What do I mean? So based on the design phase, where the design has been actually being put forward, we've seen the solution designs and technical design. This is where we put the work to action, and also put in the configuration to make it that user-friendly that we have actually designed. So this is not completed without validation. So we have to test what we built. This is actually the UAT testing from end to end to see that this is actually doing what it should do, and before we hand this over to the business. In the deploy phase, we are going live definitely. We are happy, excited to have this change happen in the business. We're going to be getting feedbacks from the relevant stakeholders, the department this is affecting, which is the procurement division, as my colleague Kachi has mentioned. And obviously, because people are new to this application, we plan to build that user training manual to have that seamless transition, as it were. So for a project to be fully implemented, we understand that we need to manage risk, and we know that we would have taken into the risk appetite of the organization, what the business actually identified as the risk threshold and tolerance level. However, we felt that if this project is not well communicated, we might have, resistance, as it were, as to what this would deliver. So it's important for us to put a good communication plan to mitigate against this risk. And if requirements gathered are not actually validated, if they are actually bad requirements, what do I mean by bad requirements? It's not actually targeting what it should deliver, then we can also stand a risk of losing into what the application should do. So we would make sure that relevant stakeholders are getting to sign off this and approving it, as it were, so that we are sure that requirements that are gathered are not actually bad, should in case we fall into this category. So yes, timelines, we want to make sure that this is not affecting business as usual, even when the project is going on as usual. So as on the side, so it will be more of a parallel project while business is still ongoing. So timelines will be set in place, matrices will be set in place, KPIs, so that we are not going outside the scope. So if timelines are not monitored, okay, let me rephrase about timelines now. Take, for example, from the project plan, we've had, that timeline that this is going to be going live, and then we have people calling off sick, or we lose any of the a very resourceful member of the team. Adequate plan will be put in place to mitigate all this defects, as it were. So yes, I will talk about resistance to change. We want to make sure that people's emotions are actually massaged. We want to make sure that we want to communicate these projects in a very, in a very friendly manner, so people are not scared of losing what value, especially people that have been with the business for the past 10 years. So we want to make sure that they are not, resisting this. But should in case we fall into this, that's the mitigation plan I've mentioned. We want to communicate to mitigate this risk. Now, we also stand the risk of doing nothing. When we do nothing about this application, even though the business might decide to pick another project as against what we are talking about today. Yes, if we do nothing, it means the business is just going to be running, without any massive change. So there won't be any development. There won't be any changes as we want to have it. There won't be growth. There won't be scaling. And we don't want that to happen. So that's about what we have on our risk. Now, if you look at the score that we have on the board, it's about analyzing what we stand to benefit from the procurement cost to the error rates and the staff costs and the rate of onboarding. So if you look at the first bar chart, which is the procurement cost, so as it were, at the moment we stand at $4.3 million. That's what we have. Pardon me if this is not giving the color code. So if we now implement this application, this CRM application, we stand a chance of reducing this procurement cost down to $2.4 million and subsequently onto $2 million. So this is what this is actually projected to us, as we can see on the screen. So my colleague had to talk about the error rate due to, repetitive tasks or daunting tasks. And this got a high rate of 4.5. So if we successfully implement this, we can reduce this to 1, and therefore, in going forward, it can go back down to 0.5. Yes, the staff cost is also worthy to mention. We've got the high rate at the moment, 3.5. If the implementation is done successfully, we can get this reduced down to 2.5 and thereabout 2. Now, rate of onboarding, yes, we want to increase our revenue. We want to increase, good market demands for ourselves. We want to be able to meet up. At the moment, the vendors we are having are not very happy because of the processes that we are not really doing well. So we've got that rate at 2.5. So a success of this implementation of application would make it go up from 2.5 to 3.5 and then to 5 million vendors, as it were. So this is about the projection of the benefits that we would stand to gain if we successfully implement this CRM application. So I'm just going to talk about the expected benefits outside the figures that we've mentioned. So the application will be secure and is going to be capturing error-free data. And we will stand the chance of having that loyalty from our vendor and also increase that wider market, reach out to intended vendors that we plan to partner with. Yes, obviously we want to increase in revenue, and that is why one of the reasons why this application needs to come in play. And this obviously is going to be coming from increase in vendors as well, whereby we are going to be meeting more market demands as a company. And yes, it's going to be improving our turnaround time. So yes, the vendors will be happy. Obviously, we want the turnaround time to sign off invoices, process orders, and all that would drastically reduce, and increase market access cutting across wider geographical area. We tend to go more global as to what we are doing at the moment. With this application, we intend to have vendors all over the world. Yes, I'm just going to bring this presentation to a close, and I would appreciate your feedback as to what we've done so far tonight. Thank you for listening to us. It's just me and Kachi from our team. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 3. Well done. Just 2 of you guys, and you went through a lot of really good information. What happened to your other group members?
They were not available. And even myself and Kachi, we were sick over the weekend. We pulled this up just yesterday, so we have something to present.
Oh, wow. Well done. Well done. You guys did really well. Okay, I'll throw it open to the team, larger team, to give you feedback. Adekola, go ahead, please.
Hi, Odi. This was a good presentation, honestly, and you I don't know about every other person, but I was spellbound from start to finish. You kept everything brief, but you were all the points were well communicated, and there was not many colors. In the slides, the fonts were, the choice of fonts was okay, very legible. And I think on is it the risk now? On the risk slide, now I can't remember which one, but where you offered all the solutions, and one of them was do nothing, right? Because that's actually an option for all the stakeholders to consider. And I like that was there. Like, I have presented you with all of this and benefits of, of implementing this solution. And if you think you don't have, for whatever reason, the option to do nothing is actually open as well. I think that was great. That'd be it.
Thank you for the feedback, Adekola. Shola?
Yeah, guys, great presentation. As a matter of fact, I would, when you guys said that it's just two of you that worked on this, I was like, wow, you guys really did a great job. Okay, so I noticed like when Odi was talking about, I think it was the risk management. I like the way you were introducing each of the points. The graphics were coming in at the right time as you were talking about them. It was the right pace. I noticed that, and I think that was great. But just maybe one thing, the transition that you guys employed from page to page, they were kind of like inconsistent. Sometimes it's like a window opening, and sometimes so I think it's better. I think it's better if it is the same thing that you're using so that it's not distracting. Then also on the graph, I know you apologize for not using colors or anything, but I that wasn't even my attention. What I want to talk about, I think you would have required like a legend there so that we can easily map exactly what chart's color is, is what, So other than that, great presentation, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shola. And then we have the second Shola raising up their hand. Go ahead, second Shola.
Thank you, Abiola. I just want to say kudos to Odi and Kachi. This is a very good slide and presentation at the same time. But I just want to be critical a little bit, going after Abiola's style. I took a picture of some of your slides. If we go from our strategy slide, under analysis, there's some words that got cut off there. Stakeholder and engagement. So maybe if you just expand the space a little, you'll be able to fit it in. And then I think that is something statement. I don't know what that word is. Problem statement. Yeah, problem statement. The last three bullet points were like all over. They were close. You had gap in between from first to second to third. You left a space, and then the fourth, the fifth, and sixth were all like matched together. And the words also ran under the arrow point for the fifth one. And then lastly, the cost benefit graph looks really nice, brilliant, but I think it would just do more if we can put the maybe $sign or something so that we know you're speaking to amount and not maybe just number or something like that. But other than that, this is lovely.
Thank you, Shola. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Shola. Stella?
Hello, can everybody hear me?
We can.
Okay, thank you very much, Abiola. And I want to give kudos to Kachi. He did a very fantastic introduction. His introduction was seamless and it was very, very, very captivating. For me, what he did for me was he helped me to visualize what he was talking about. Maybe because I'm into procurement or I'm a procurement person, I could actually relate with every bullet point and everything. And I could also bring it home because it's a problem the industry is kind of facing. So I did not look at the technical aspect of it. I did not look at the graphs or whatever I was writing, but I could relate. For me to be able to relate with what he was presenting to me, if you do that to a board of directors, I think you're going to get it. You're going to get an approval for any amount of your project. So for me, I would say, good job.
Thank you, Stella.
Thank you, Stella. Tito?
Oh, well, I just wanted to say one thing. I mean, you guys said you put this up just yesterday. I think it's an outstanding job, considering that you were not feeling so well, both of you, and then you still managed to do all the work. I just wanted to commend you. Like, this is good work.
Thank you, Tito.
Moya, sorry. Thank you, Tito. Moya, sorry.
I don't have any like critique. My question is to Abiola, you yourself.
Okay.
So I understand. Like, I like their slide. I like their slide in the sense that it was very, 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 very detailed, about my group slide anyway. Sorry about that. Now I want to ask, when preparing a slide or when working with when presenting to stakeholders or the management, I'm not a fan of business slides. I'm not really a fan of it, because if there's no, it doesn't know how to capture like the it doesn't know how to capture the attention of stakeholders or management. Which one do you recommend? Do you recommend a business slide, or do you recommend a slide that has a proper understanding of those points and not too business like that, not too serious?
Okay, so this is my response to your question. Anytime I put together a slide, I put it together for my audience. My first question is, who am I presenting to? If I'm presenting to top management, that I know that even though I book 30 minutes of their time, they're only going to be listening to me for 5 minutes, right? That's going to inform how I'm going to create the slide. Having said that, overall, here is my approach. Like I said earlier, right? I do not write the story in a slide. Straight to the point, like I put it in point form, unless I absolutely can't, and I almost can't think of a scenario where I can't put it in point form, but I speak it like a story. And even in speaking it like a story, I'm not going to use too many words. I want to go straight to the point. Because usually when you're asking for approvals like this, right, $1 million, $3 million, these are people who are always thinking numbers, how to make the organization money, how to save money, how to make more money. Right? So I want to speak the language that they understand. And I think that it's finding the right balance in between business, right? After all, you're a business analyst, you're not a technical analyst, you're not a solution architect, right? It's finding that right balance in between. Like, even when you're talking about numbers, it's still business, right? Again, maybe what you're driving at is, putting so many words out there, people tune out. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend go point form. Go straight to the point. Have those extra words in your mind to speak, right? But definitely not on your slide. And you know how when you're looking at your PowerPoint presentation, you can put your notes at the bottom of the slide, right? You have that space. Put all your notes in there, not on the actual slide. You don't want people looking at your slide and looking away, like, oh, I don't want to look at that. So I hope I answered your question. Stella, you have your hand up. Did you want to give feedback? Oh, you lowered it. Okay, well, given all the feedback that has been shared already, I don't have much else to say than to say, well done, guys. Just the two of you in such a short time while you were not feeling well, you put that together. I'm very curious to know what happened with the rest of your team. If they didn't contribute to the slide, neither did they speak today. So maybe we'll take that offline. So again, I thought you did excellent, the two of you pulling it off. The only one thing that I would add, again, in addition to all the comments every other person said, is watch out for grammatical or typographical errors, right? Onboarding is one word. You wrote it as on space boarding. That has no meaning. at least in the context of what you're talking about, onboarding is one word. When you write a slide, this is for everybody here. Get somebody else to take a look at it, especially somebody who was not part of the people who put the slide together, right? Because you know how you read the document over and over again and you're seeing a mistake and you're not even knowing it's a mistake, right? So always try when you can to get, that external feedback before you do the presentation. But overall, well done, well done. Now we're going to go to the fourth group. We're ready for you. Please take the floor when you're ready.
Thank you very much. Okay, perfect. So my name is Justina Akonde, and I will be presenting for Group 4B4. The name of our company is called Runway. So I'm just going to give a brief introduction of our company and what we do and where we are right now. So Runway is an American online high fashion retail company inspired by latest muses. We have provided our customers with high-end trending fashion pieces over the last 2 decades. Our products are lovely matched, and we offer premium quality at affordable prices. We always surpass our forecasted sales goals and triple our revenue until recently, when we started experiencing a decline in our revenue. But before that, I'd like us to take a look at our competitors and also our customer profile. Victoria, if you could show us the next slide, please. Thank you. So these are our major competitors. We've got Zara, we've got Fashion Nova, we have Saks, Fifth Avenue, Louis Vuitton. These are our competitors in the sense of online presence, high-profile influencers, and physical stores all around the world. We would also like to show you the customers we cater to in the next slide. Yes, so we cater to celebrities, stylists, anyone who wants to look good in our pieces, we cater to all of them. So when we started experiencing a decline in our revenue, we were convinced that we faced intrinsic risks of losing more revenue and customers, especially if we do not build solutions that would help us build back better. So this project is geared at implementing a CRM solution that would help us increase our revenue, retain our customers, increase our market share, and ultimately reclaim market dominance. The big question is, how do we move from our current state to our proposed future state? And for that, I would like to introduce my colleague, Bumi, to shed more lights on this. Thank you so much for your time. Bumi, if you could take this over.
Thank you, Justina, for setting the pace. So I'm just going to talk about our assist state, the assist state of our organization, Runway. I'd like to say that we got to gather these pain points by surveys, reviews, and observations that we conducted recently. So one of our pain points is that our app is considered not to be user-friendly. When our customers try to order, they encounter various issues, and as a result, they are unable to complete an order, thereby leaving the page unexpectedly. The items on the app are not arranged properly. For example, it is said that our search icon is not visible on the main page. Also, our customers experience issues logging in after account creation. When they create an account, they have difficulty accessing the account they created, thereby registering for multiple accounts. This leads to duplicate customers in the system and inability to track or know the exact customers in our database. So our customers also are not directed to the right landing page. When they eventually log in, they have difficulties navigating properly to the right page. The tabs on the user interface are not displayed for easy navigation and visibility. For instance, a customer that is trying to process an order from start to finish is unable to do so due to the arrangement of the items on the user interface. Some of our customers also complained of images not loading on the page. They said that they are unable to view some of the uploaded items which actually affects their buying decisions. Another pain point is that our cart times out too fast while trying to decide on items to choose. The cart times out quickly, and most of our customers says that they repeat the process of choosing items all over again. Most of our customers also complain of issues when it comes to checking out. They say that the payment options are limited, that our billing system does not accept all bank cards. For example, only MasterCards are allowed. Customers with Visa cards are unable to proceed with payments. In addition, the page does not allow for gift card or coupon options. So I'm just going to introduce my wonderful colleague, Gozi, to talk about impacts on the pain points. Gozi, over to you, please.
Thank you, Bumi. So to go over the effects of the pain points, we consolidated most of the findings we had into three main topics. First is the reduction of sales and the subsequent loss of revenue in the last year of 20%. So we see that we're having major losses in revenue, and we contribute that to the rising popularity in e-commerce, which makes our situation a little more dire. The increased bounce rate results in lower customer retention. And for those of you who don't know, bounce rate is essentially the percentage of visitors that switch or leave your page after viewing only the first page. And we think that that's an issue, because when people are leaving our page due to how bad it is after the first page, it really deters customers from looking at more of our products and spending more time with all the other things we have to offer. And then lastly, we see that our unreliable web presence strengthens our competition indirectly, because when people look at our websites, don't like what they see and leave, they're inevitably directed to our competition to find the products that they couldn't find on ours. Next slide, please. So this is just a quick graphic to show some of the stats regarding our web traffic. And this is for the last month. As you can see, our new users are going down. It's been a steady reduction over the last few months, and we think that's a big issue. Our bounce rate is currently at 3.7%. And although that doesn't seem very high, the problem comes better into scope when you realize that that number is only based off people who leave the first page. If you look right next to it, you see that people only ever really look at 2 pages per session. So the bounce rate is actually much higher than what's initially shown. Handing it off to Victoria.
Thank you, Gozi. I haven't talked about the pain points the company is currently experiencing. It's very obvious that our current state today cannot get us to the next level in our organization. And so we have looked into the future to say, where do we want to be? What are the goals and objectives we need to achieve in order to be at the desired level expected? I'll be mentioning a few of the listed points here. Not necessarily as listed, but just randomly. We would need an app that is error tolerant. What do I mean by error tolerant? An application that notifies users in cases where errors are made and allow easy error correction while supporting users as far as possible. We would also need an increased loading performance on our website. That talks about speed. A fast website streamlines the browsing process and gives users better overall experience when viewing the company's website. And of course, the two-factor authentication for additional security is key. This is a mechanism that helps double-check one's identity is legitimate. Lots of fraudulent activities are happening here and there. Our customers need to be protected. This is also intended to provide stronger protection against unauthorized access to user accounts. We would also need to carry out a market survey to gain critical information and feedbacks from customers, as this would contribute to retaining our existing customers and also getting new ones. We would also be able to identify promoters, detractors, and also passive. This overall will help us to know if the company is performing or not. We would need to carry out some promotions and discounts, as this would assist to boost our company's brand reputation. Reputation is key, obviously. Build customer loyalty, and of course, increase our database. Lastly, having a solid import and save option is key, as this is currently overwhelming for customers who have taken their time and energy to shop and later discover their shopping wasn't saved. This is a waste of time and energy. Let's quickly take a look at our promotions and discount strategy. Victoria, can you? Oh, thank you. By implementing our promotions and discount processes, we would build a lasting relationship, and we would also achieve an increase in customer engagement, which would lead to about 1.5 million increase in our annual revenue for the next 3 years. And of course, through our improved application, our customers will definitely have a great and seamless experience all through their shopping on the website. We've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Group 4. Thank you for that presentation. Team, do we have any feedback for them? Odi, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you, Group 4. That was a good slide. I would say you got the very lovely slides out there. And then I also like the transition from the very first person. She had a very positive spirit, which was quite catchy to know what's going on. You know, that was really, really interesting from the very beginning, going down to the last person. And then, yeah, the information were very clear. So we could actually follow through the pain point, the impact, and what you hope to achieve. For me, I didn't look into detail if you've got any grammatical punctuation error, or I would say thank you for that wonderful presentation. Can I also ask, what tool did you use to do these slides? I'm quite interested to know. Am I audible?
We didn't get the question.
Slides.
Okay, I was going to ask, I'm not sure if you use PowerPoint to do this. Is there any application you use to do this? Was it Canva or something else?
Oh, no, we just use Google Slides.
Google Slides, all right, thank you. Well done, guys. That's
Thank you, Odi.
Yeah, well,
thank you for that. Any other feedback for Group 4? I know we're all getting tired now, but we're almost there. Shola, go ahead, please.
I'll just say quickly, well done to the group. It's a beautiful presentation. One slide that just caught my attention is the pain point slide. I think it's relatable. I mean, listening to you guys and looking at the points there, I mean, you just can't help but picturing maybe you're on Amazon and you're trying to shop and you're having all these difficulties. So well done to have come up with all these pain points.
Fantastic. Thank you, Shola. Any other feedback for Group 4? Okay. If there's none, I'll quickly give my feedback here. Group 4, well done. I thought that was a really well done, well put together PowerPoint and a well done presentation. Fantastic intro. There was good flow, you know, like when each one of you spoke, like you just flowed naturally. And that was really good. One other thing you did really well that I liked, and I'm hoping all the other teams can learn from that, is that not only did you talk about the pain point, you told us how you gathered the pain point. So you mentioned interviews and I think surveys and one other thing, right? And that really helped, right? Like even if you made it up, right? You gave us the impression that, you know, you put this work into it and this information you're sharing with us, you actually talk to the right people to get that information. Okay, the slides were definitely different. You know, your choice of colors, it was well spaced out. It was in point form, which was good. I have to be honest with you. The first slide, though, it was very rare. And maybe that's my personal preference. But for a second, I'm like, oh, what am I looking at? But once you moved past the first one, all the other ones, like the color contrast was really good, white background, and then I think the text was red and black, right? That was really good. From a typo point of view, the only one I caught is you wrote guest check. It was supposed to be guest check out, but you wrote guest checks out, right? So you wrote it like a verb instead of, I guess, a noun or whatever that is, right? That's the only typo that I thought. But overall, I thought that was an excellent presentation. Well done. So now, general, I'm talking to everybody on the call, not group specific. Thank you so much for putting in the effort and the time to do this presentation. This is one of multiple that we're going to do. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, this is the easiest one. And I know it was a bit hard on you because it was the first one, right? But the next one, you're going to be building on this and it'll be easier. And we can share, we got a lot of feedback today. Hopefully we can take it away and use it to improve on the next one. Again, we're doing this together. Like they say, teamwork makes the dream work. We're going to make this dream work. We're all here to learn business analysis and also, some people are going to be learning Scrum as well, right? And we're going to come out of it improved versions of ourselves, right? We will be better at presenting. We will be better at gathering information. We will be better at sharing that information. So again, all the feedback that I'll share today, it's not to criticize anybody or their work. It's really to pull you up to become better versions of yourself. Before I take the next two, there are two people who with raised hands. Before I get to that, tomorrow we're going to continue on with our lecture. So tomorrow we're going to be doing lessons 4, and we have just 2 more days of meeting this week. So hopefully we'll cover lessons 4 and 5. Next week, we're going to start preparing for the business case assignment. At some point this week, you will receive the sample business case that I presented. Again, bear in mind that that's not a complete business case. Part of what I've asked that you please present as part of your business case, you wouldn't find it in my version. Okay, that's a mini version I'm going to be sharing with you. Please follow the assignment guideline to, basically include everything that we've asked that you include on there. It's going to be a longer presentation because it is more work. So we're not going to do all 4 groups on one day. Probably will be 2 and 2. Okay, we'll talk more about that, but just bear in mind tomorrow and Thursday, we're going to be focusing on lessons and taking any questions that you have about the presentation, okay? One other thing I wanted to mention, in last class, there was somebody who asked me a question about gold plating. When I had explained gold plating, she had said, oh, isn't gold plating done by developers? Is that person in class? And I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name, just that, there's almost 40 students, right?
Yes, I am. It's Moji.
It's who? Sorry.
Moji.
Oh, hi, Moji.
Yes. Hi.
I just wanted to speak a bit about that. So remember that day I was talking about scope creep and I was talking about gold plating. And it was when I talked about gold plating that you asked that question. And Moji, you are absolutely right. Gold plating typically comes from the development team. The only thing that I wanted to add to that is because you used the word developer that day. Sorry, excuse me. You use the word developer that day, but I'd like to say, think about it as the development team, not just the developer. There's some projects, depending on the nature of the project, that they have designers as well. So somebody who's designing the screen, right? Even that person can gold plate. They may think this extra button here will make it look good, right? If they put it in the design, the developer will then develop it, right? And so it can spill over from there. However, scope creep is what will come from the business. So again, for everybody, when you think scope creep, usually it's coming from your stakeholders. When you think gold plating, it is coming from the development team. The concept of both of them are the same. The terminology is different based on who's doing it. If it is coming from the business, the account manager of accounting, that is when they're asking for extra stuff that is not part of the scope, right? It is scope creep. But if it is somebody in the development team, maybe the designer, the solution architect, the developer, right? Any other party, any other person in the project team, then that is gold plating. You're trying to make it more beautiful. Yeah, beautiful is good, but it's going to cost more money. and it's not critical to the function of business, right? So Moji, thank you for raising that point. I just thought I'd provide that clarification to say you were absolutely right. The only thing I'd recommend is, again, don't think about it just from the context of the developer, because it can come from, depending on the composition of the team. Moji, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
It does, yeah. Thank
you.
Abiola,
you've forgotten our group. There's a last group represent.
Oh, wow. There's one more group. Oh my, yes. How did I miss that? Well, I am so sorry. I thought we had just 4 groups. Okay.
No.
Okay, so we're almost at time and we really can't take your presentation. That is on me. I apologize for that. However, you would not have had enough time because in between the presentation and the feedback, we went about the 20 minutes. So Group 5, why don't we strike a deal? Before we start tomorrow's class, you do your presentation. Can we do that?
Yeah, we can.
Yes,
can?
Agreed.
Okay. And I apologize. I'm so sorry. I know you'd rather just do the presentation and forget about it. I completely understand. But please, tomorrow we'll start with your group. And I'm sure this will give you an opportunity to tweak a few things here and there if needed, right? But thank you. Thank you for agreeing to that. Tomorrow we'll do your group. Dawn, you have your hand raised. Did you have a question?
Yes, I do. I was wondering how we would make up for the 2 hours missed yesterday.
Oh, yeah, we will. Good question. Thank you. I planned on talking about that. We're going to have an extra class for that. Okay, so we'll have one more
Thank
class. You. Yes, we will. We will. Towards the end of the training, we're going to be talking a lot about how to actually get the job, right? Interview prep, what your resume should look like and all of that. So we're going to have a few days there. If need be, I would use one of those days. Otherwise, we'll legit have one extra day because, we're going to need all of that time. I want to listen to you all more and let everybody get comfortable talking. Any other questions before we call it an evening? Does anybody have any other questions about anything, about the way that I gave my feedback, about the feedback that I gave, about anything class related? Any questions?
Sorry, Abiola, what was it that you wanted to assess when we opened our cameras? Because I don't think I had that feedback as to anybody.
Yeah, so what I wanted to assess was eye contact, right? In group 1, I had a few people who showed their cameras and a few other groups as well. There were some groups that nobody turned on their camera. It was inconsistent all over. So I'm kind of saving that feedback for the next one because even though I basically begged people to turn on their cameras, only a few people did. For second presentation, though, I'm going to be looking at that. Basically, let me tell you what I'm going to be looking at. It's okay for you to have your notes when you're doing a presentation, but if you're looking at your notes more than you're looking at the screen, that is a problem. If your camera is turned on, I can assess it. If it's not turned on, I can't assess it. Now, not just me, I mean every other person on here, right? But you're correct. I didn't give much of that feedback today because most people were not, had their cameras turned off.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Did you have your camera turned on?
Oh, yes, I did with Kachi.
Oh, yes, you did. You did. I remember now. And you did really well. You and Kachi, I mean, most people did really well tonight, but both of you was just the two of you. You turned on your camera. That was really good.
Yeah.
Well done for that. And I'm hoping you turn your camera on for the next presentation as well. But to answer your question, that's what I was looking to.
All right.
That's what I was looking to see. Yeah. Joke?
My question is, it's a general question on the first assignment. Just 2 questions. Did all 4 groups get the same assignment outline? All 5 groups.
Yes.
I'll tell you why I'm asking.
I know why you're asking, but I'll let you tell me. Yes, all 5 groups got the same outline. So go ahead.
That's my first question. And then my second question is, you did mention, did you or did you not mention in class that our slide should be a maximum of 6?
I did mention a maximum number. I think maybe it was around 6 or 7. And yes, most groups went over that today. As a matter of fact, for a lot of the groups, some of the information that you shared today really would have gone in the second assignment. So I see you reusing it because you already put in the work. Okay. However, it didn't make the groups that went strictly by the guideline, it made it look like they didn't do enough.
Yes, that's why I asked the first question that I did. I believe that's why I asked the first question that did we all get the same outline? You know, it looked a bit, I don't know, but thank you for asking. Now
I understand where that's coming from. Okay, so again, group 1, that's Joke's, not group 1. For the groups that went over and above, you know, it's good to go over and above, but to Joke's point, we did have a guideline to follow. And it would have taken less time if we actually all went by the guideline that we provided. Having said that, though, all the extras that you did will not go to waste. Feel free to reuse it for the second assignment. Okay, Lolade, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I do. Good evening. Okay, so I just wanted to ask, when you were speaking after everybody presented, or after the 4 groups presented, you mentioned that, okay, actually, no, I don't have a question anymore. Joke kind of covered it when she asked us, because I know you mentioned that the next assignment will be a business case. So I was just wondering, how is this different from the business case? That's what I wanted to ask. Well, I think, yeah.
So again, yeah, you're right. Like, you know, I explained to Joke, right? Some teams, and for the teams who did like 11, 15 slides, I hope you didn't think that was your business case, because we made it clear that the second assignment will be the business case, right? So if you, like I said, if you've included some of the business case elements in this, reuse it so you're not recreating the wheel. But next time, right? Like the next one is business case, strictly follow the guideline. That would help everybody, and it puts everybody on the same pedestal. But again, thank you, everyone. We're right on time. Actually, we're 1 minute past. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for the presentation. Take the good feedback in good spirit and come back, you know, for your second presentation. I'm sure you're going to do excellently well. Thank you all for your time and have a good night.
Thank you, Abiola. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night, everyone. Bye.